Good morning and welcome to the Committee on Ways and Means. Committee Secretary, will you please call the roll?
Assemblywoman Anderson. Assemblywoman Backus. Assemblywoman Brown May. Assemblywoman Dickman. Assemblywoman Gorlow. Assemblyman Hafen. Assemblywoman Howdigi. Assemblywoman Kasama. Assemblyman Miller. Assemblyman O'Neill. Assemblywoman Peters. Assemblyman Watts. Assemblyman Yeager. Chair Monroe Moreno.
And I am here. Will you please mark Assemblyman O'Neill present when he arrives? Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Ways Committee meeting. If you would like to join us by phone, our number for today is 888-475-4499, and our meeting ID is 818-327-87349, and then please press pound. If you have any electronic devices with you, I ask that you mute them or turn them off so they're not disruptive during the meeting. We will have a few hearings today, and sometimes we hear things that we don't always agree with. I ask that we all be respectful of each other. We can disagree without being disagreeable. And on our agenda, we had Assembly Bill 386. That bill will not be heard today. It is being rescheduled. So if you're here for that bill, you do not have to stay. And with that, we will start at the top of our agenda with Assembly Bill 37. And Assembly Bill 37 authorizes the establishment of a behavioral health workforce development center in Nevada. Good morning. Welcome to Ways and Means. Seems like I just saw you yesterday. Sorry, you can start whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning. For the record, got to get used to this. Fergus Loffridge, Chair of the Rural Regional Behavioral Health Policy Board and Health Director for Fort McDermott, Paiute Shoshone Tribe in McDermott, Nevada. Representing the Rural Regional Behavioral Health Policy Board, we brought forth Assembly Bill 37. It was heard before the Policy Committee, passed unanimously without amendments, and bipartisan support throughout, and had great conversation regarding that. This bill, in summary, provides for the Behavioral Health Workforce Center of Nevada. As we know, behavioral health is in a crisis in the state of Nevada. May is Behavioral Health Awareness Month, so it's timely that this bill is heard today before this committee. Behavioral health is at crisis, as we said, and if we don't do something now, we will be continually having these every biennium. What this center does is provides for an establishment of a behavioral health workforce center located within Nevada system of higher education, working out to the area regional spokes, as it were, so a hub and spoke model. I believe you've been provided with an overview of that, so I won't dwell on a lot of that. But it's important for this to know that this is not a brick and mortar. This is for personnel costs to get things done now, and building on to the future. And with that, I have Andrew Klinger with us to address any of the fiscal note implications.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the committee. For the record, Andrew Klinger, Chief Financial Officer for the Nevada System of Higher Education. Just briefly, I know what you're interested in is the fiscal note, and so we worked with the bill sponsors, Dr. Hunt, who I believe is in Las Vegas, Fergus, and Valerie, to put together this fiscal note. And Madam Chair, I would say, first of all, the timing of us learning of this was unfortunate, because I think if the chancellor would have known about this earlier, at least he probably would have recommended this be included in our budget request, but timing-wise, it just unfortunately didn't work out that way. As Fergus stated, this authorizes the board to establish a workforce development center with a main hub. The fiscal note before you today, which has actually been revised, we adjusted the start date on the positions from July to October. It totals approximately 2.1 million over the upcoming biennium, with 8 positions in fiscal 24, plus an additional 2 in fiscal 25, and the associated operating costs. I know one of the questions that has come up is, okay, where do we appropriate the money? I think there are several options. I think one of the options is to appropriate it to system administration within INCHE, and then once the board goes through the process of establishing the center and establishing the main hub, we could allocate it out to, to whichever institution was determined to be the main hub. I think the other alternative would be to appropriate the funds to IFC, and then once the board makes those determinations, we could certainly come back and request the money that way. So I think we're flexible if the committee is inclined to obviously add funding for this. And with that, Madam Chair, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you for the presentation from both of you. So not a brick and mortar. Looking at the fiscal note, it's personnel. It's, the expense would be with the UNLV budget, but these personnels would work all over the state, correct?
Madam Chair, for the record, Andrew Klinger, that is my understanding. That's correct. And I think what, again, under the model of the way I would envision it is allocating all of the funding to wherever the hub is, and then as they determine where they need positions, the hub, whichever institution that is, could then allocate funds out to the various regions for personnel and for other operating costs.
Members, any questions? You should have the updated fiscal note on Nellis. It's just a few pages. It breaks down the personnel cost for FY24, operating costs for 24, and both for 25. Any questions? It should be in the fiscal notes that are uploaded on Nellis. If you go to the AB 37 and go over to the fiscal notes, it should be there. Does it have a star? That is it. Okay. Assemblywoman Peters.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And thank you for this bill. I think it is a novel concept, and I appreciate it. I do envy UNLV being the host of this, because I think it would be lovely to have this work being done in the north as well. A couple questions related to just the size of this initial staffing. Does NC have other programs that are kind of like this related to workforce development that is comparable in size and development as what's suggested in this fiscal note?
Madam Chair, for the record, CFO Klinger, and maybe I'll start, and then if Dr. Hunt and others want to jump in system administration, and we do have a couple of workforce development positions, but I think in this case, these positions are serving a very sort of specific purpose related to behavioral health, and so we certainly don't currently have anyone in our office that has that expertise. We do have folks that work on just sort of general workforce development, but nothing this specific, and Dr. Hunt or others may want to add to that.
To clarify, I'm not specific to behavioral health, but just really any other workforce, even whether it's diversity, workforce development, or just any support system that is of this size.
Madam Chair, through you to Assemblywoman Peters.
Go directly to the member.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For the record, Andrew Klinger, nothing of this size currently in system administration. Like I said, we only have a few positions currently in the office, actually not even a few, probably two, that work on just workforce broadly across the entire system.
Thank you, Madam Chair, for the latitude. The other question that I have is related to the operating costs recommendations in here. The out-of-state travel and then the consultation and technical assistance line items are both 20K. Can you talk about how you came up with that dollar amount?
And Madam Chair, for the record, CFO Klinger, I think I'm going to defer to Dr. Hunt. I know she worked with our staff very closely on this.
Good morning, Dr. Hunt.
Good morning. For the record, Sarah Hunt, S-A-R-A-H-U-N-T, and I'm the Assistant Dean of Behavioral Health Sciences for the Kirk Kerkorian School of Medicine at UNLV. Thank you for the question, Assemblywoman Peters. So you'll see that the out-of-state travel and consultation is for connecting with two similar programs that exist in the other states. So in our meetings with you all, we mentioned that this center is based on a model that's been in existence under the University of Nebraska and started in Nebraska. So it would be consultation with that center, as well as there's a new center that just started in Illinois. So through legislative action, they were able to stand up their center this year and consult with them as well. So they both have very similar kind of hub and spoke models, but approach their workforce development initiatives differently. So it would be to go out and visit with them, especially the center in Nebraska, since they've been in existence for over 10 years. We really want to talk with them further about what's been successful, go on site and see some of their programming and outreach that they do.
So for clarification on the consultation and technical assistance, you expect a contract with somebody? Is that what that line item is for?
Sarah Hunt again for the record. So there would be a consultation, especially, and probably a contract for consultation and technical assistance with the center in Nebraska, since they are the longest standing one.
I think I would like to see a little bit more of a breakdown on these travel costs. $20,000 for travel to two sites seems like a lot, so I'd like to know the expectation for the team, and then maybe some cost breakdowns if we can get that as well.
Sarah Hunt again for the record. We can work on that. Thank you.
Thank you, members. Any other questions on this budget or the amended fiscal note? Seeing none, then I'll ask you to go ahead and take a seat back, and we'll invite members here in the audience and anyone that might be joining us in Las Vegas or on the phone line that would like to testify in support of Assembly Bill 37. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair and is that working? Sorry. Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the committee. Kanani Espinoza, representing UNLV. UNLV is ecstatic to be the behavioral health hub for this program and look forward to providing behavioral health services throughout Nevada, and we couldn't be more thrilled. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the committee. Blaine Osborne, Nevada Rural Hospital Partners. NRHP actually employs two of these regional behavioral health policy coordinators, and we couldn't be more thrilled to support this bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead.
My name is Robin Reedy. I'm the Executive Director of NAMI Nevada, and very simply, I am here to support this bill. Is it worth the money? Absolutely. We are rated pretty much last, and one of the parameters that are measured against is our providers and the available providers in the psychiatric field. So, please, we support this bill.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the committee. Sheila Bray with the University of Nevada, Reno. We are in full support of AB 37. As we all know, there's a large shortage of behavioral health workforce across our state, and we're excited to work with our partners to help identify this issue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Elise Monroy Marsala here on behalf of the Nevada Public Health Association. We are in strong support of AB 37. I know this isn't a policy committee, but one of the things I'll say is I think this is a really cost-effective and innovative way to approach sustainable workforce development, as AB 37 on one end creates workforce pipeline, but then on the other end supports providers in all the things they need to do to sustain their business. So when we think about what a provider learns in school, they learn how to provide good patient care. They don't learn how to navigate billing and how to run a business. And AB 37 and the program that they developed has been really thoughtful in the way that it's approached those things. So I think absolutely AB 37 will be worth any dollar that we can put into it. So we urge your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Morgan Baiselli. I'm here with Silver State Government Relations, here representing Vitality Unlimited and New Frontier. We strongly support this bill and see it as rural Nevada's best opportunity to attract a whole range of behavioral health professionals to help us grow on our own. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Zoe Houghton with Tom Clark Solutions, here on behalf of MedX Air 1, a rural emergency air ambulance service and ground service that serves our rural areas of the state, and we are in strong support of AB 37. The rural behavior workforce health model was first discussed at we first heard about it at our mental health summit focused on rural areas last year, and we found it a really robust discussion was had and a lot of support was built in the rural areas, and we think this would help address the mental health issues that we find in the rural areas that is growing across our state, but also particularly there. Thank you, and we urge your support.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here in Carson City that would like to testify in support? Seeing none, we will go to Las Vegas. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you, Madam Chair. My name is Oscar Sida, S-I-D-A. I'm representing myself, but I work for Great Basin College, and I'm also a mental health clinician. I am very excited about the prospects of this bill and how it can help develop workforce, especially related to substance abuse counseling. And while I guess the intent is that the main hub be at UNLV, the overarching theme is to support a rural workforce development. And workforce development, when you grow professionals in their locales, their hometowns, their native lands, they tend to stay and work there if they're educated there. Great Basin College has a number of programs in the rural communities. We have centers in Winnemucca, Ely, of course, our main campus in Elko, and then I work out of the Pahrump office. So I'd like to ensure that when this plan is developed, that we have resources allocated that are equitable and serve the mission. And you know, I see too many projects kind of spend a lot of money, but they don't get anywhere. And I'd hate to see that happen because the rural communities desperately need this. Our programs have a number of students working in the rural communities, and this initiative can really bring in more students that are interested in healthcare and also establish the future workforce in mental health, substance abuse, and ancillary professions. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Is there anyone else there in Las Vegas with you? I'm going to take that as a no. BPS, do we have anyone joining us on the phone lines that would like to testify in support of Assembly Bill 37?
If you would like to testify in support of Assembly Bill 37, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the committee. Stephen Cohen for the record. Stephen with a V. Cohen is in the Assemblywoman, no relation. Ditto. Thank you, and I yield.
Thank you so much. Next caller.
morning. Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the committee. This is Steve Messenger with Nevada Primary Care Association, representing the state's federally qualified health centers. We hear about behavioral health workforce challenges every single day, and there's a growing need among our more than 100,000 patients of Nevada. We support AB 37 full-throatedly and hope you do too. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Next caller.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the committee. My name is Dr. Lori Drucker, Laurie-Drucker. I am a psychologist, and I'm here on behalf of the Nevada Psychological Association. We represent approximately half of the psychologists in the state, and our members work for the state in the universities, medical centers, hospitals, community behavioral health centers, and in private practice. As you are all aware, Nevada ranks at the bottom of the nation for the number of mental and behavioral health care providers per capita. Recruiting and retaining providers is a critical need in our state. We've already submitted written testimony in support of AB 37. I'm here today to support Nevada's investment in this innovative program. Not only does this program create a pipeline to train and retain mental health providers, such as psychologists, but it also offers education about mental health care and supports increased access to care for all Nevadans. Thank you for your consideration of this important legislation.
Thank you so much. Next caller.
Chair, there are no additional callers choosing to testify at this time.
Thank you so much for that. So we will move to opposition. Is there anyone here in Carson City that would like to testify in opposition of Assembly Bill 37? Seeing none. Is there anyone in the room in Las Vegas that would like to testify in opposition for Assembly Bill 37? Seeing none. BPS, do we have anyone on the phone lines that would like to provide testimony in opposition on Assembly Bill 37?
If you would like to testify in opposition to Assembly Bill 37, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. Chair, there are no callers choosing to testify at this time.
Thank you so much. Then we will move to the neutral position. Is there anyone here in Carson City that would like to testify in the neutral position on Assembly Bill 37? Seeing none. Not seeing anyone in the Las Vegas room. BPS, do we have anyone else joining us on the phone lines that would like to testify in opposition, in neutral?
If you would like to testify neutral for Assembly Bill 37, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. Chair, there are no callers choosing to testify at this time.
Thank you so much. Now I would ask the percentage to come back up to the table real quick. Thank you. Mr. Klinger, you had said something during your presentation that it might be best to put the money in the IFC contingency account. I would agree with you. And then there was a question from Assemblywoman Peters about the travel, if we could get that information back to us. And then to receive the funding, bring the final plan so we have, what this is going to be, and then get that funding from the IFC account. Is that something you guys could be agreeable to?
Madam Chair, for the record, Andrew Klinger, Chief Financial Officer for System Fire Education. Yes, that would be great. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for presenting today. And with that, we will close the hearing on Assembly Bill 37, and we will open the hearing on Assembly Bill 125. We will welcome our Vice Chair, Assemblywoman Backus, to the table to present Assembly Bill 125, which revises provisions relating to public safety. Good morning and welcome back.
Good morning. Do you guys hear me okay? Okay. Good morning, Chair Monroe Moreno and members of the Assembly Committee on Ways and Means. My name is Shay Backus, and I have the pleasure of serving our assembly representing District 37. As most of you guys probably also know, I am also a citizen of Cherokee Nation. So today it is my pleasure to present the money side of Assembly Bill 125, which is intended to address missing and murdered Indigenous persons. For background, Assembly Bill 125 essentially does three things. First, Assembly Bill 125 provides that the tribal liaison for the Department of Public Safety is to also maintain communications related to missing and murdered Indigenous persons between the department and Indian tribes and tribal communities in our state, tribal organizations, urban Indian organizations, other tribal liaisons designated by state agencies, and non-governmental entities that provide services to women who are members of Indian tribes. Second, AB 125 is intended to ensure that Indigenous adult persons who go missing are captured in the National Crime Information Center. NCIC is a computerized index of criminal justice information, including missing persons, that is accessible by federal, state, and local law enforcement. In light of some concerns expressed by local law enforcement, the mandatory language was changed to permissive in the reprint 1. Third, AB 125 includes a provision for peace officers to receive training in taking reports and handling of cases related to missing Indigenous persons. For a deeper dive into federal Indian law and criminal jurisdiction, I welcome you to watch the policy hearing held in the Assembly Committee on Judiciary held on March 6. In light of some of the fiscal notes attached to this bill, I do want to express that I have continued to work with stakeholders to iron out some of the issues presented in this bill. So going first, one of the main things is obviously the training and post, and some of the criticism was the overbroad language, and I've been kind of seeking more specific language because most law enforcement does already train with respect to understanding tribal sovereignty and working around our tribal nations, as well as obviously dealing with reports of missing persons. I had a lot of help early on by the Department of Public Safety in what those reports would look like and be taken, and so can't imagine too much work, maybe like a one-pager with respect to putting information into a miscellaneous code and whatnot. So working with that, and I believe the first fiscal note had $0 for post, but I am following up with that to just make sure that we're not putting too much more work on our law enforcement with respect to training, but making sure some of these crucial issues are being addressed, if not already being addressed. Next is the investigator side. We do have a amended fiscal note that provides a position amounting to $226,296. I'm not sure if all of you are aware, but already Nevada law does provide for a liaison in most of our agencies, including Department of Public Safety for our tribes. However, I think I'm getting linked in with a wonderful bill, and I think it's a great bill. It's SB 94. That is going to be heard in Senate Finance tomorrow. That adds a lengthy list of items for our tribal liaisons. And so with that, you'll notice at the bottom of the fiscal note, when you take that along with the additional mandates that I've put on in the first part of AB 125, there was an ask for an additional position. So with that, I stand ready to answer any questions.
Thank you for your presentation and your work on this bill. So AB 94 will be scheduled to be heard tomorrow. So the tribal liaison that you are, the investigator in your bill would be included in that bill.
I'm sorry, I'm Shay Backus. For the record, Chair Monroe Marino. No, what happened was when they prepared the fiscal note, right now every agency already has a tribal liaison. However, with the expanded scope of duties being set forth in AB 125 and Senate Bill 94, and Senate Bill 94 has quite a long length of items compared to my little 125, I received the amended fiscal note for the additional position.
Thank you for that clarification. Members, any questions? Assemblyman Hafen.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. And Assemblywoman, I know you and I have talked about this and the importance of this. With the change from too permissive on the NCIC. Is that going to address the federal concerns that were brought forward?
Shay Backus, for the record, by and through Chair Monroe Marino to Assemblyman Hafen.
You can go directly to the member.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Basically, so I'm still working on this, and for those on the policy side, the permissive language was put in there because I have the support of Department of Public Safety to be able to take reports. However, some local law enforcement agencies are pushing back with respect to being able to take a report into NCIC. We were able to expand it and reprint one, but there are some federal Indian law jurisdictional issues. So if someone goes missing under suspicious circumstances, for example, when a officer takes a report and into NCIC, technically within a short time period, they need to do an investigation. And with federal Indian law, they can obviously not go on to the reservation to do that investigation. So it's created some challenges. Whereas I have Department of Public Safety that came up with another really good idea of how to input the report, almost like a courtesy report. For those that aren't familiar with NCIC, basically it's a database when people go missing. And the sad reality of it is this helps people when someone who is murdered shows up and they can identify that person. And so most recently, and in the hearing that we had before the judiciary, we had the daughter of a woman who was found in her trunk between Reno and Carson City from Pyramid Lake Indian Reservation. And so that is really but the purpose. It has been a struggle. So I did permissive, and there's still some workaround, and it's a bigger policy issue with this NCIC database, because right now we have a variety of people who can take reports. Obviously, the BIA can take a report. The good thing about this bill, and this is why I think it would be cheaper also for us to do, is through this, we've learned that tribes can ascertain a grant to get the NCIC database themselves. And so a lot of our tribes, and tribes that I just assumed had NCIC because they're wealthier tribes, ended up now being able to secure it. So that's a positive. However, we still have rural tribes who don't even have tribal police. And so some law enforcement thought, okay, well, maybe we can take reports for them. So thank you, Assemblyman Hafen. And I know when I amended it, you also wanted to be a co-sponsor, and I still haven't forgotten, but I will continue to work on this issue.
And thank you for that. I was disappointed not to see my name on this, but the non-personnel section of the fiscal note then is for the NCIC equipment and IT portion. Is that correct? And now that that's being permissive, I would assume that those funds may or may not be needed.
Assemblyman Hafen, Shay Backus, for the record, I need to follow up with that because there's overlap with SB 94, and NCIC would definitely not be needed for Department of Public Safety because they already have that. But it may, now I'm getting confused. I'll have to go back to my emails, and I apologize, and I can follow up with you and the committee on that.
Thank you. Members, any other questions? Seeing no other questions, I look forward to seeing the updates on this bill. Kind of keep an eye out on the SB hearing tomorrow. And without any other questions, I'll just ask you to take a step back, and we'll invite those that would like to testify in support of Assembly Bill 125 to step up to the table. Good morning again.
Good morning. My name is Morgan Baiselli with Silver State Government Relations. I'm here representing Pyramid Lake Paiute Tribe, Shoshone Paiute Tribe of the Duck Valley Indian Reservation, and the Duckwater Shoshone Tribe. We are here in support of this bill. Thank you.
Thank you. See no one else here in Carson City. And I'm not seeing anyone in Las Vegas in our meeting room there. BPS, do we have anyone joining us by phone that would like to testify in support of Assembly Bill 125?
If you would like to testify in support of Assembly Bill 125, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. Chair, there are no callers choosing to testify at this time.
Thank you so much. And we will move to opposition. Is there anyone here in Carson City that would like to testify in opposition of Assembly Bill 125? Seeing none, not seeing anyone in our Las Vegas room. VPS, do we have anyone joining us by the phone that would like to testify in opposition of Assembly Bill 125?
If you would like to testify in opposition to Assembly Bill 125, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. Chair, there are no callers choosing to testify at this time.
Thank you so much. Then we will move to the neutral position. Is there anyone here in Carson City that would like to testify in the neutral position on Assembly Bill 125? Seeing none and not seeing anyone in our Las Vegas room. BPS, I'm going to assume there's no one on the phone line that would like to testify in the neutral position of Assembly Bill 125. Am I correct?
Chair, there are no callers choosing to testify at this time.
Thank you so much. So with that, we will close the hearing on Assembly Bill 125. And we will open the hearing on Assembly Bill 389. Assembly Bill 389 revises provisions governing Medicaid, and we welcome Speaker Yeager. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, and members of the Assembly Ways and Means Committee. My name is Steve Yeager. I represent Assembly District 9, and it is a pleasure this morning to present to you Assembly Bill 389 in its first reprint. I'll be pretty brief on what the bill does. Essentially, for purposes of this committee, it requires the Department of Health and Human Services to apply for a waiver. And so I think that's where we see some of the fiscal costs in the immediate biennium. But in terms of what the waiver would allow, it would be a Medicaid waiver that would allow for coverage for certain services to incarcerated youths and certain adults. And essentially what it would be is requesting of CMS that individuals who are incarcerated and qualify can start to receive treatment 90 days before they are released from custody. There is a procedure in place where they can be qualified at this point, but actually providing those services to be covered by Medicaid is something that is not allowed unless the state is able to obtain a waiver. And just to kind of quickly tell you how that would work, if you look at the bill on page 2, around line 16, it would give you those who would qualify to receive services if the waiver were to be granted, youth, and then anyone diagnosed with either 1 through 7 listed there, or if someone is pregnant or not more than 12 weeks postpartum. And so the idea would be, if this were to be granted, we would be able to cover those individuals through Medicaid, and they would be able to receive services before they are released. Those services would include things like case management, consultation with behavioral and physical health care providers, laboratory and radiology services, prescription drug coverage, including for medication-assisted treatment and assistance through community health workers. And the idea here would be that continuity. Right now we have certain issues where folks are released from incarceration and they lose that continuity that they had while incarcerated. They're unable to find providers, sometimes unable to continue their medication. They are given a supply when they leave typically, but it can be difficult to find providers in the community that can service them. So that's essentially what the bill does. There are 2 fiscal notes on the bill, as in my most recent reading. One is from the Department of Corrections with an unable to determine the fiscal impact, and the other one is from the Department of Health and Human Services, Healthcare Financing and Policy related to the cost of preparing the waiver. I won't say that I've been in contact with them directly.
directly, but one of our committee members, Assemblywoman Peters, has been in contact with them about this fiscal note, and I think there may be another way to go about doing this. And so I don't want to speak for them because I think they're here and willing and able to talk, but happy to answer any questions that this committee may have on the bill itself or on the fiscal notes as I can try to answer those as well. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much. I have two questions before I ask members for theirs. Do we know the number of youth that this might impact, and do we know how we're handling those cases now?
Steve Yeager, for the record, I do not have the answer to those questions, unfortunately. I'm looking through my notes to see, and I'm not sure. My sense is the youth population will be fewer, of course, because we just don't have as many youth incarcerated in the state. But there may be some representatives here from NDOC who are able to answer that, and certainly able and willing to try to get that answer for you.
Thank you. And if we do have anyone from NDOC that can answer those questions, I invite you, please come on up to the table. We have a phone a friend. Good morning.
Good morning, Chair. Kirk Widmar, the Chief of the Offender Management Division for the Department of Corrections. Currently, we have 12 youth that would qualify under this program in our system. If we look over the course of since the youth have come to our department, the average youth that have been incarcerated with us sits around 18 to 21 youth. So that is about the total population. The high that we've seen has been as high as 24, and the low has been as low as 8. And so that over the course of the approximately 7-8 years that we've incarcerated the youth.
And then for these youth who receive the services, are they currently receiving services before they get released and building that relationship? And then how is that being funded currently?
Thank you for the question, Chair. So currently, because they're incarcerated, I think we're running into the issue of the need for the waiver. The services that are provided internally related to mental health and medical, of course, to the extent the department can, we absolutely do. As they release, as referenced by the speaker, they, like the adults, are signed up, qualified with that transition upon release to be engaged in the system. But currently, as we stand, without the passage of this, we have that barrier without the waiver.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that. And if there's a representative from DHHS that could step up to the table to speak about the fiscal note, that would be wonderful. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair. For the record, Richard Whitley, Director of Health and Human Services. I have somebody from Medicaid here to talk about the fiscal note, but I think to answer your question about the numbers, that would be the point of the waiver that we would apply for. So far, the state of California is the only state that has been approved. There are like 12 states that have applications in. Nevada doesn't have an application in yet, but in concept, for a waiver, we need to show basically that we're telling CMS, the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid, that we believe that we can provide a service better than what's in the current Medicaid plan, and to the feds with a cost neutrality. I will say that California was able to show a savings, and although the Department of Corrections spoke about a small denominator of adolescents that are in the adult system, most adolescents that are in our juvenile facilities do qualify for Medicaid and upon discharge and are provided service in. That probably has the least amount of gap in it, but the majority is really in the jails and the Department of Corrections for adults when they leave. And that's where California was able to show the savings. So specifically, and I apologize because I gave a little I didn't answer your question directly, but that was sort of bottled up in me to just clarify that. Those of you that have sat on our agency budget may recall that the Fund for Resilient Nevada, which is the opioid settlement funds, that we haven't actually funded fully the resources that were prioritized to go to the criminal justice involvement, and so those funds, instead of general fund, would be an appropriate funding source. We also can get federal match for those, and use for the state match for federal funds for this waiver. So the fiscal note that the Division of Healthcare Financing and Policy submitted does indicate general fund, but we'll make a change to that and can use opioid settlement funds. And then the detail is really showing that we can achieve a savings. The biggest gap is that people don't have basically enough medication until they get an appointment, and people who've been stabilized often require higher levels of care that are more costly, and that really is the point that California made. Probably the jails are going to be more challenging. Most contract with healthcare. They would have to become a Medicaid provider. Again, more of a response than what you asked for, but we'll correct the fiscal note that we have on this bill.
Perfect. Thank you for the additional information. I think that was very helpful for the committee. Go ahead.
For the record, Lynette Aaron with the Division of Healthcare Financing and Policy. So we would like to update our fiscal note. The total for the biennium is $1,911,243, and the general fund portion, which will be replaced with the opioid settlement funds, would be $817,909, and the federal fund portion would be $1,093,334.
Could you say the last number again? I wasn't writing fast enough.
Sure, no problem. So the federal fund portion would be $1,093,334.
Perfect. I've written it down, but if you could send that updated fiscal note to the committee so we have that in writing would be great for the file.
For the record, Lynette Aaron, yes, we can do that, Chair.
Awesome. Members, do you have any questions? Seeing none, I think you guys answered them all. Thank you. If there's anyone here in Carson City that'd like to testify in support of Assembly Bill 389, I invite you to the table.
Good morning. For the record, Valerie Haskin, Rural Regional Behavioral Health Coordinator. A large part of my job is working with stakeholders from all aspects of the behavioral health system, both across the state as well as my specific region, which is the 6 northeastern rural and frontier counties. That being said, I've had the opportunity to speak with law enforcement leaders as well as social workers, nonprofit leaders, and many others, including hospitals. And the discontinuation of care between release from detention into community settings creates a large barrier, particularly in our rural communities where there may be long waits for care, and not having someone signed up for Medicaid or within services previous to release really creates a lot of issues. I spoke to one undersheriff recently who said that in their jail they had well over 100 inmates, the majority of which had substance abuse and or mental illness issues, and that of their $1 million they spent in medical expenses last year, the majority of that was related to that treatment. Looking at Section 1 here and the services that would be covered, this really lays the foundation for a lot of practices that would really help move people through that transition and into care and create that continuity. So thank you very much. This seems like a great bill.
Thank you. Is there, not seeing anyone in Las Vegas, BPS, do we have anyone joining us on the phone line that would like to testify in support of Assembly Bill 389?
If you would like to testify in support of Assembly Bill 389, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. Chair, there are no callers choosing to testify at this time.
Thank you so much. Coming back to Carson City, is there anyone here in the room that would like to testify in opposition of Assembly Bill 389? Seeing none and not seeing anyone in Las Vegas, and I believe we do not have anyone joining us on the phone line, we'll move to the position of neutral. Is there anyone here in Carson City that would like to testify in neutral? Good morning. Again.
Good morning, Chair. Thank you. Kirk Widmar for the record, Offender Management Division for the Department of Corrections. I just wanted to commit to the record that the waiver application process is a very arduous process, and the Department of Correction is committed to work very closely with our colleagues at the Department of Health and Human Services to provide the data, provide the resources needed related to hopefully a successful application process and an approval of the waiver. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no one else to testify, we will close the hearing on Assembly Bill 389, and we will open the hearing on Assembly Bill 502, which makes a supplemental appropriation to the Division of Public and Behavioral Health for the Department of Health and Human Services for an unanticipated revenue shortfall.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the committee. For the record, my name is Jo Malay, last name M-A-L-A-Y. I'm the Deputy Administrator with the Division of Public and Behavioral Health. With me today in Carson City are John Barrowman, the Division Fiscal Officer, and Drew Cross, the Agency Manager of Lakes Crossing Center. Today, we are presenting Assembly Bill 502. This is a supplemental appropriation to the division for an unanticipated revenue shortfall and an increase in operating costs. Section 1 of this bill states a sum of $589,999 based on the division projections done in January. However, evaluations since January projections show a reduction in general fund. The total amount of general fund appropriation today is now $471,798, a reduction in general fund appropriation of $118,201. And with that, we're happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Would you restate the revised amount, and will you be sending over an amendment for that revision?
Madam Chair, thank you for the question. The total amount now is $471,798. We were guided, we did provide this to Legislative Council Bureau and the Governor's Finance Office, and we were guided to present this revision at the table.
If you could just submit something in writing to my committee manager so we can have it for the file for this bill to take it to the work session. That would be great.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. Members, any questions on this bill or the adjusted amount within the ask? See none? Thank you, and you two get off easy. Then we'll ask anyone that's here in the room that'd like to provide testimony in support of Assembly Bill 502 to step up to the table. Seeing none, is there anyone in Las Vegas that would like to testify in support of Assembly Bill 502? Seeing none. BPS, do we have anyone joining us by the phone line for this bill?
If you would like to testify for Assembly Bill 502, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. Chair, there are no callers choosing to testify for this bill.
Thank you so much. Coming back to Carson City, is there anyone here that would like to testify in opposition of Assembly Bill 502? Seeing none, not seeing anyone in our Las Vegas office stepping up to the table, we will go to the neutral position. Is there anyone that would like to provide testimony in the neutral position here in Carson City? Seeing none, so with that, we will close the hearing on Assembly Bill 502. And we will open the hearing on Assembly Bill 504. Good morning.
Good morning, Chairman Ro Moreno and members of the Assembly Committee on Ways and Means. Thank you for this opportunity to testify on the merits of this bill. For the record, my name is James Hunt, and I am with GoEd. In an effort to conserve time, I'll walk you through this relatively quickly. Section 1 is a replacement of office computer hardware and software. These are all within their replacement schedule. Section 2 is for the purchase of new office furniture for 3 staff members for 3 new office spaces in the Carson City location. Section 3 is for staff member professional development and certification from the International Economic Development Council. Section 4, subsection 1 is also for computer replacement, excuse me, also within respective replacement schedules. Section 4, subsection 2 is also for the Apex Accelerator computer replacement. Section 5, subsection 1 is for the PTAC Apex Accelerator for office modifications, and Section 5, subsection 2 is for the same matter. So if there are any questions, happy to answer them.
Thank you for the presentation. First question, do you anticipate any amendments to this piece of legislation?
James Hum, GoEd for the record. My apologies, I should have stated that. No amendments, Chair.
Thank you. And then if you're able to get items at a more discounted price, any money left over would be reverted back to the general fund at the end of 25, correct?
Chair, that is correct, and my incredible fiscal team, who I'm surrounded by, is always looking for a great deal, so we will make that commitment.
Awesome. Thank you. Members, any questions on Assembly Bill 504? All right, seeing none, thank you all for joining us here this morning. And we'll ask if there's anyone here in the room that would like to testify in support of Assembly Bill 504. I invite you to the table. Not seeing any. Is there anyone in our room in Las Vegas that would like to testify in support of Assembly Bill 504? Not seeing any. BPS, do we have anyone join us on the phone line that would like to testify on Assembly Bill 504?
If you would like to testify on Assembly Bill 504, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. Chair, there are no callers choosing to testify for this bill.
Thank you so much. Seeing that there's no callers to testify on this bill, we'll come to opposition in Carson City. Is there anyone here in the room that would like to testify in opposition of Assembly Bill 504? Seeing none. Still not seeing anyone in our Las Vegas office, and knowing that there's no one on the phone lines, we will move to neutral. Is there anyone here in Carson City that would like to testify in the position of neutral? Seeing none. Not seeing anyone in our Las Vegas room, and knowing that there's no one on the phone lines, we will close the hearing on Assembly Bill 504, and we will open the hearing on Assembly Bill 510. Thank you all for joining us this morning. We'll open the hearing on Assembly Bill 510, which makes an appropriation to the Department of Motor Vehicles for replacement or purchase of computer hardware and software and office equipment. Good morning.
Good morning, Chair and committee members. Sean Sever from the Nevada DMV. AB 510 makes appropriations from the State Highway Fund to various divisions of the DMV for replacement of computer hardware, software, printers, and office furniture, and other end-of-life equipment. Replacement of this equipment aligns with standard replacement schedules. And we do need to update some of the dollar amounts in the bill due to updated vendor quotes and corrections to the quantities, which we provided to LCB. And Madam Chair, I can go over those if you'd like. Okay.
Yes, if you could walk us through it, that would be great.
Sure. In Section 3, for the replacement of office furniture and replacement equipment in the DMV's transformation effort budget, The $200,181 needs to be amended to $205,610. And then in section 4, for the replacement of computer hardware and software in the DMV's transformation effort budget, the $15,456 needs to be amended to $15,208. And then in
That 208 or 280?
208.
Okay.
In section 12, for the replacement of computer hardware and software in the DMV's compliance enforcement budget, the $167,546 needs to be amended to $168,041. And then in section 15, for the replacement of office furniture and equipment in the DMV's research and project management budget, the $28,369 needs to be amended to $27,985. And we appreciate you considering our request and can answer any questions.
Thank you so much for that. And with the updated information, I did not receive what you sent to LCB, so if you could send that to our committee manager so that we have that just for the file, that would be great. Members, do you have any questions on this budget? And I will just remind members that any of the unspent highway funds on these items and this agenda item would revert back at the end of 25. Any questions? Seeing none, thank you so much. I'll ask you to step back. If there's anyone here in the room that would like to provide testimony in support of Assembly Bill 550, I invite you to the table. Seeing none. Not seeing anyone in our Las Vegas room. BPS, do we have anyone on the phone line that would like to testify in support of Assembly Bill 510?
If you would like to testify in support of Assembly Bill 510, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. Chair, there are no callers choosing to testify at this time.
Thank you so much. We'll move to opposition. Is there anyone here in Carson City that would like to testify in opposition of Assembly Bill 510? Seeing none and not seeing anyone in Las Vegas and knowing we do not have anyone on the phone line, we'll move to the position of neutral. Is there anyone here in Carson City that would like to testify in the position of neutral on Assembly Bill 510? Seeing none, still not seeing anyone in our Las Vegas office, and knowing that we do not have anyone on the phone line, we will close the hearing on Assembly Bill 510. All right, moving on. We will open the hearing on Assembly Bill 511, which makes an appropriation to the Division of Public and Behavioral Health of the Department of Health and Human Services for the replacement of computer hardware and software and replacement of office furniture and equipment and deferred maintenance projects. It's a mouthful. Welcome back.
Thank you, and good morning again, Madam Chair and members of the committee. For the record, my name is Jo Malay, last name M-A-L-A-Y. I'm Deputy Administrator with the Division. With me today again in Carson City is John Barrowman, Division Fiscal Officer, and Drew Cross, the Agency Manager of Lakes Crossing Center. Today we're presenting AB 511, which again makes appropriations or one-shots to the Division of Public and Behavioral Health for replacement of computer hardware, office furniture, equipment, and deferred maintenance projects. There are no revisions to these sections. Madam Chair, would you like me to state each section or go directly to questions?
Okay, I am going to share with you our notes. There was a revision based on the closing actions of the money committees regarding certain deferred maintenance that was funded in the Aging and Disability Services Division for the Sierra Regional Center budget and the Division of Child and Family Services and the Northern Nevada Child and Adolescent Services budget, and for buildings transferred from DPBH to those divisions of Section 6 of this bill should be reduced in the amount of $264,870. And if you were not watching the hearing that day, you may not have been aware of that, so wanted to share that with you. Do you have that in your, I see the gentleman at the table shaking his head.
Yes, thank you. My name is John Barrowman, and I'm here for DPBH, Fiscal Manager. I appreciate the clarification. In the original Governor Recommends budget, we did have a transfer once the appropriation was made to DPBH, and in the closing hearing, you were correct. The appropriation is no longer being funneled to DPBH to transfer. Instead, that appropriation is being made directly to the Aging and Disability Services Division. So we concur with that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So we will make those adjustments according to the closing for those budget items. And members, any questions? And presenters, do you have any questions for us? No? Okay. All right, then we will ask you to step back. Thank you so much. Trying to get you guys all in on one day so you don't have to keep coming back and forth. May have to make one more trip though, but I try to. Is there anyone in the room that would like to testify in support of Assembly Bill 511? Seeing none. I'm not seeing anyone in our Las Vegas office. So we will move to the phone lines. BPS, do we have anyone who would like to testify in support of Assembly Bill 511, or if we have anyone who would like to testify on Assembly Bill 511 on the phone lines?
If you would like to testify on Assembly Bill 511, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. Chair, there are no callers choosing to testify on this bill.
Thank you so much. Coming back to Carson City, is there anyone that would like to testify in opposition of Assembly Bill 511? Seeing none, not seeing anyone in our Las Vegas office, and knowing that we do not have anyone on the phone lines, we'll go to neutral. Is there anyone that would like to testify in the neutral on Assembly Bill 511? Seeing none, not seeing anyone in our Las Vegas office, knowing we do not have anyone on our phone lines, we will close the hearing on Assembly Bill 511. And we will open the hearing on Assembly Bill 512, which makes an appropriation to and authorizes the expenditure of money by the Division of Welfare and Supportive Services for the Department of Health and Human Service for certain information technology upgrades and projects. Good morning.
Good morning, members of the committee. Lisa Swearingen, I'm a Deputy Administrator with the Division of Welfare and Supportive Services. Today I'm going to present to you AB 512, which makes appropriations to and authorizes the expenditures of money by the Division of Welfare and Supportive Services for certain information technology upgrades and projects. Currently, most of our computers and/or software will not be able to support or will be compatible with Windows 11, which goes live in October of 2025. It is a necessity for our agency to update our computers, hardware, and software. Section 1 of this bill is requesting $551,505 in appropriations from the general fund. In addition, we are expecting to draw down $1,355,426 in federal funds to support this effort. This request will replace computer equipment and associated software within budget account 3228. Section 2 of this bill is requesting $281,644 in appropriations from the general fund. In addition, we are expecting to draw down $688,879 in federal funds to support this effort. This request will enhance the Wi-Fi technology within all of our offices and procure licenses to improve effectiveness within the offices as well as our customers. Section 3 of the bill is requesting $825,817 in appropriations from general fund. In addition, we are expecting to draw down $1,814,265 in federal funds to support this effort. This request will replace computer equipment and associated software within budget account 3233. Section 4 of this bill is requesting $16,420,672 in appropriations from general fund. In addition, we are expecting to draw down $31,875,429 in federal funds to support this effort. This request will support the continuation of the Child Support Enforcement Program's Technology Modernization Project. This concludes my presentation of AB 512, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you so much for walking us through the bill and pointing out the federal drawdown dollars. Appreciate that. And no amendments will be coming for this bill, correct?
For the record, Lisa Swearingen, that is correct.
Thank you. Members, any questions? Seeing none, thank you so much. We'll move to testimony in support of SB 512. Is there anyone here in Carson City who'd like to testify in support? Seeing none. Looking at our room in Las Vegas, we don't have anyone in the room in Las Vegas to testify in support of Assembly Bill 512. BPS, do we have anyone on the phone lines that would like to testify on Assembly Bill 512?
If you would like to testify on Assembly Bill 512, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. Chair, there are no callers choosing to testify at this time.
Thank you so much. Then we will move to the position of opposition. Is there anyone here in Carson City that would like to testify in opposition of Assembly Bill 512? Seeing none and not seeing anyone in our Las Vegas room, and knowing we do not have anyone on the phone, we will move to the position of neutral. Do we have anyone here to testify in the neutral on Assembly Bill 512? Seeing none and still not seeing anyone in Las Vegas, and knowing that we do not have anyone on the phone lines, we will close the hearing on Assembly Bill 512. And with that, members, that was the last bill on today's agenda. I thank everyone for joining us. We will go to our last item on the agenda, which is public comment. If you'd like to make public comment, I invite you to come to the table here in Carson City. If there's anyone in Las Vegas, come to the table there. And we gave out the number at the beginning of today's meeting for public comment. Not seeing anyone move to the table here in Carson City. And not seeing anyone in Las Vegas. BPS, do we have anyone on the phone line that would like to make public comment?
If you would like to provide public comment, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. Chair, there are no callers choosing to provide public comment at this time.
Thank you so much. So we got through that a lot faster than I thought we would. Members, I will see you not tonight. We don't have a meeting tonight. It's a miracle. All right, so enjoy your night off. This meeting is a joy.